Hey everybody, this is Sky, and when I want to know what's going on in the wonderful world of sports, I tune to Sports World Radio.
Hey, this is EAJ-Man from Autopsy Live and the Skype Pirates. When I want to make it look like I give a shit about sports, I tune into Sports World Radio with Jeff Escow.
Jeff
Doing my time. Doing my time. Got myself a problem.
from San Diego. It's Sports World Radio. You've never heard a sports show like this. Oh, no, you haven't.
Oh, blow me.
You got it.
Holy fucking shit.
What in the hell is your major malfunction?
Can't believe that goddamn son of a bitch did that fucking crap.
Don't give me any of your shit.
Right?
Yeah, that's right. Those are your hosts, Jeff Ascow and Sean Mann. Remember, those who can't play sports, talk about it. These two tell it like it is. Tune into Sports World Radio for the fastest hour of sports of your life. So here they are, the douchebags of sports themselves, Jeff Ascow and Sean Mann.
Hey, welcome everybody to Sports World Radio. How's everybody doing today? I hope we all got your ears on and you're here and ready to rock and roll. Where is that son of a bitch, Wes? I told him to get his ass in here. Cancel your workout for the first 15 minutes because, dude, I'm going to shove facts down your throat that you ain't going to like. But before we do that, Wes, I have to start off with getting all the particulars out of the way. And then I'll come and proceed to shove Pittsburgh sports right down your throat. That's how we're starting the show off today. No, we're not starting the show off with Aaron Hernandez being guilty or the NBA game tonight, Pelican game, or anything. No, I'm starting off ripping one of my fans. That's how I'm starting the show off today. So get ready, kids. Let's get all the particulars out of the way, and then I'll get ready to come after you, Mr. Wes. Pittsburgh fan over there. You better get your ears on, bitch, because I'm coming, and I'm coming hard with facts that you cannot disagree with. So get ready. Facebook.com/SportsWorldRadio. Head on over there, like our Facebook page at Facebook.com/SportsWorldRadio. While you're doing that, follow us over there on Twitter at Twitter.com/SportsWorldRadio as well. If you want to get in touch with the show today, give us a call at 619-663-3715. 663-3715 is the number to get in touch with us here at Sports World Radio. So go ahead and do that. If you're a Skype user, you can Skype us at Sports World Radio Show. That's Sports World Radio Show. You can Skype us over there. SWRshow@gmail.com. SWRshow@gmail.com is the email address to get in touch with us here at Sports World Radio as well. If you want to come and hang out in our chat room, we're over at Spreaker.com, Spreaker, Spreaker.com. Head on over there, get yourself a free account. Yes, it's free. Sign up, get yourself a free account. Type in Sports World Radio. The show will show up at the bottom of your screen. All the way over to the right is the chat bubble. Click that chat bubble and start chatting away. SportsWorldRadio.com is the place to listen to us each and every Monday through Friday. 6 o'clock on the east, 3 o'clock on the west. And if you live in the Central?
If you live in the Central, figure it out for yourself.
You can't wait for this, can you?
I can't wait.
You can't wait for it. I might not even introduce you. I might just do it. No, I can't do that. I'm just going to continue the way we go. SportsWorldRadio.com. Click that donate button there. Donate to the cause. Help us keep us doing what we'd like to do here, which is entertain you with sports talk and a whole bunch of other bunch. And believe me, there's going to be a bunch of other stuff today. With all that out of the way, what do you say? Hey, we bring in our co-host, Mr. Sean Mann, the update man. What's going on, buddy?
I'm doing good, Jeff. Welcome, everybody, to Sports World Radio on this Wednesday, April 15th, 2015. I'm on a roll. I'm just laughing so hard because I'm on Facebook.
Because he knows what's coming.
I invited some of my Boston friends right there, and we're hitting them and saying, hey, Wes, when was the last time all Pittsburgh teams
he knows what's coming.
Championship, and Jeff's ready to pick a bone with him?
Because he knows what's coming. That's why. Hey, Wes, you rat bastard. Right now, Wes, since I'm the host and the owner of the show, of Sports World Radio, guess what? Right now, Wes, you are the only rat bastard candidate of the week right now. Okay? You better hope somebody else screws up worse than you did, because right now you are the only rat bastard candidate of the week. The Fish That Saved Pittsburgh. That's the only basketball team they'll ever have in Pittsburgh. You should go watch that movie, Shaba. That's a really funny, kick-ass movie, and it's a really old movie. I bet you that movie's as old as Wes.
Yeah.
Wes, little known fact for you and your Pittsburgh Steelers, bitch. Fact. Last time they won the Super Bowl. Fact. February 1st, 2009. Fact. Last time the New York Giants won the Super Bowl. February 5th, 2012. Fact. Last time the New England Patriots won the Super Bowl. February 1st, 2015. Fact. Sit there and shut up. Fact. The last time the Pittsburgh Penguins won the Stanley Cup. Fact. 2009. What a coinky dink. The last time you had any type of champions in that city at all has not been since 2009. Fact. So sit there and shut up. Fact. The last time your stinking Pittsburgh Pirates won a World Series, 1971. Fact. They suck. So sit there and shut up. In fact, they have not even been in the World Series since 1971. So
79.
79. So shut up. Okay? Since 1979. Okay? So shut up.
Wes says, no, all my Pittsburgh teams rock and rule, and they're going to do it all this year. You all watch
No,
and
they're
see
not.
what
They're not
happens.
going to do nothing. You know what they're going to do? The same thing they do every year. The same thing they do every year. Be playing golf when the playoffs are on. Just like you. Just like you.
Jabba, saw it many moons ago on television.
Many moons. 1979 was the last time the Pittsburgh Pirates won a World Series. Chuck Tanner was the stinking manager. The last time you freaking won a Stanley Cup was 2009. The last time you won a Super Bowl was 2009. So sit there and shut up. I know you're still pissed off about the San Diego Chargers having too many men on the field and the referee's not calling it and knocking the Pittsburgh Steelers out of the playoffs. Oops, so sorry, suck this. Okay? Fact. 2009 was the last time Pittsburgh won anything, so sit there and shut up. Oh, yeah, last time the New York Giants won the Super Bowl was 2012. Okay? A little bit sooner than you. So sit there and shut up. You jackass. Unstinkable. You know, I was in a really good mood when I woke up today. Nobody was bothering me. I turned my Facebook on, and then I got to deal with this schmuck.
Have to deal with Wes this and Wes that.
Is that. And the first thing that popped into my head is I'm going over to Wikipedia, and I'm going to find out when the last time the Pirates won, when the last time the Steelers won, and when the last time your freaking Penguins won. Guess what? Since 2009. Shut up! Okay? Your teams suck. Okay? At least one of my teams has won it a couple of years ago. Yes, I know.
Did win this year in 2014, Wes.
And you know what he's going to come back, Sean? You know what he's going to come back and say? He's going to come back and say, well, the New York Knicks suck. No crap! I can admit that. I get that. I at least am able to admit that. Unlike you, where you have to blame everybody else. The referees, Roger Goodell, the NFL. You blame everybody but the people on your team. You jackass. So sit there and shut up. That's how we're starting the show off today.
I saw your comment. You said, keep talking, Wes. I'll put you in your place on the show. Come and listen.
And I did, didn't I?
Yes, you did. And Wes is probably listening and shaking his head and probably saying, My day's going to come when all Pittsburgh teams will start winning championships.
It's not going to happen. You're not going to win a Stanley Cup this year. You're not going to win a Super Bowl this year. You're not going to win a World Series this year. You know why? Because you live in Loserville. That's why. You know that picture that he put on Facebook with all those Pittsburgh fans? Oh, this is what Pittsburgh fans, this is what winners look like? Yeah. They haven't won nothing since 2009. Those are a bunch of losers congregating around. That's what they're doing, you jackass. The hell's the matter with you? Stop blaming everybody else but the people who are actually playing the game. Okay?
Complain about the officials. It's the referee's fault.
It's the referee's fault.
By umpiring and bad officiating.
Right. It's the referee's fault that there wasn't a strike 3 call there. It was the referee's call that he missed a play because he was out. Oh, the referee didn't call too many men on the field. The referees didn't do this. The referees didn't do that. No. You know what? Your team doesn't have it to win. That's the problem, and you can't admit it. Once you admit that, then we can move on. But until then, we can't move on because you can't admit that. And that's what the problem is right there. I can admit my team suck. My team stinks. My team is really good at losing. I admit that. I understand that. But you, my friend, see, you are not a true sports fan. You only care about when your team wins. You don't want to hear about it or talk about it when your team loses. That's not a true sports fan. You know what that is? That's Skip Bayless. That's what that is. You're almost as bad as he is.
So, Wes, you're saying Wes is Skippy Bayless the second, or Skippy
Correct.
Bayless Jr. or the third?
Correct. He's almost as bad as Skippy Bayless, man. It's ridiculous. You know, I'm never going to see Pittsburgh Penguins Stanley Cup champions in my lifetime again. I'm never going to see the Pittsburgh Pirates win a World Series in my lifetime. I'm never going to see that because it's not going to happen no more, so get used to it. In fact, you're not going to see that ever again in your lifetime either, you rat bastard. So get used to it. And that's how we're starting off the show today. How do you like that?
He's still going at it with me.
I should have had... Yeah, you know why? He's still going at it with you, but he's afraid to actually come in the chat room and take me on because he knows my facts are right. I shoved my facts right down his throat, and he can't say a goddamn thing to me, can he?
No, he can't.
Exactly. That's why he's not fighting with me. That's why he's fighting with you, because I was the one that shut him up, so he can't come after me no more.
He said this to me on the one that Josh tagged me and that we still are laughing about. He goes, Terry Bradshaw has 4 Super Bowls without cheating, and I said that was the 1970s. This is 2015.
Dude, you haven't won a Super Bowl since 2009. Sit there and shut up. Terry Bradshaw didn't won a Super Bowl. What are you, living in the freaking 80s, dude?
He says,
the hell's the matter with you?
1970, ha ha ha, damn it, LOL.
The hell's the matter? Oh, sure. So, Wes, obviously you're not working out right now because you're fighting with Sean on Facebook. So get your ass over here and listen to the show. Dumbass. Sure, you have to go all the way back to the 80s to find something good about the Steelers? That's pathetic. That's pathetic. Simply pathetic.
Haven't done much since there, Wes, since February of 09, and the Pirates since 79, so enjoy the fact that the Pirates drought gets longer and longer. And whenever they lose, I'm thinking of you, Wes, because I know that that's pretty tough for you as a lonely Pittsburgh Pirates fan.
It's pathetic.
Jeff had a good day until Wes started spoiling it.
Yeah, I was having a good day until he started freaking throwing out stupid facts that don't mean crap. That I just shoved right down his throat. So sit there, be quiet, you. Okay? Just sit there and be quiet. Because you can't say anything about it.
Yeah, and stop having your excuses come up there and make all these excuses and say, the 70s was a great time. Pittsburgh dominated the decade.
Yeah, because of the steel curtain defense, not because of their offense, you schmuck. For somebody who's supposed to know Pittsburgh football, I figured you would know that, asshole. It was because of their steel curtain defense, not because of their offense, you dummy.
And Wes says 6-time world losers. That's what you. That's
See,
what
so obviously he's listening to the show.
Yes, he is. He's listening while he's
working
out in the gymnasium.
And he's texting you on Facebook because he doesn't have the balls to come into the chat room because he knows I'm going to eat him up alive because he knows my facts are right. That's the problem. He's working out, listening to the show, texting with you because he won't text with me because he knows my facts are right. How about that?
And he had to get into a big debate with you, Josh, listening in. Oh, look, he's here. Hey, I'm here.
Oh, it's about time, you rat bastard.
Instead of texting with me, Wes, I'm glad
it's about time. I know you. I know you heard the whole opening to the show, Wes. Oh, see, Wes, but Wes, we don't live in the 1970s no more, you idiot. It's 2015, and the last time the Pittsburgh Steelers won a Super Bowl was 2009. So just sit there and shut up, please.
He goes, ha, 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 ha. Very funny, Jeff. At least he's probably thinking
the
Steelers don't cheat and that they're dominant.
Doesn't matter. I'm right. Last time the Penguins won the won the Stanley Cup was 2009. Last time the Pirates won anything was 1979. So just sit there and shut up. Okay? The last time you won anything in Pittsburgh land was 2009. Oh, what about the Giants? Giants won in 2012. Okay, so sit there and be quiet.
And look at him. He says, look, I'll bring up the greats. Lynn Swann, Franco Harris, Terry
You're
Bradshaw.
still... Okay, dude, they're not playing football anymore. They're not on this freaking team. Get out of the 80s and live in the 2015s. Stop dreaming about the past and live in the present. Okay? Lynn Swann's not playing. Terry Bradshaw's not playing. Franco Harris ain't playing. You don't have the steel curtain defense. You just lost Troy Polamalu. Oh, my God. Stop living in the past and get in the goddamn present, you dumbass.
But he also has the belief that he said this too, right, Josh? That Josh and I were Skyping about it too. And he said, Wes, you even said that the Penguins are going to shock the entire world by winning the Stanley Cup this year, and the Steelers are going to have the best offense in 2015.
I hate to tell you something. That defense was better than the offense back in those days. Were you alive back in the 70s, dude, to see any of that? Because I know I was.
He said the 76 Steelers defense was the best ever.
Dude, we don't live in 1976 no more. This is 2015. Okay? What? Let me ask you a question, Wes. What has your team done for you lately?
That is a good point.
Because that's all that really matters. It doesn't matter what happened in the past. It matters what has your team done for you lately. And you know what they've done? Not a goddamn thing. Period. End of discussion. We don't live in the 1970s. We don't live in the 1980s. We don't live in the 1990s. We don't even live in the 2000s. We live in 2015, dude. What has your team done for you lately? Not a goddamn thing. So sit there and shut up.
Wes is like saying, you said the 70s offense sucked. I'm just telling you.
I don't care about the 70s, dude, because I don't live in them no more. I live in 2015. The last time your team, your city, saw a championship was 2009. Sit there and shut up. Period.
I'm not talking 70s. You did.
I'm not talking 70s either. I'm talking right now. 2015. The last time your team did anything was 2009. Sit there and shut up. Okay? And I know what you're going to say. Oh, but your Knicks suck. Yes, they do. At least I can admit it. When your team screws up, you can't even admit it. You blame somebody else. You don't blame the people on your team. You blame the referees. That's not a freaking right thing to do. That's not a football fan. A football fan takes the losses and the wins. They don't blame anybody, you dumbass. They blame the people on the team. They don't blame the referees, you dumbass.
I know, Kathy. Ugh.
I don't get it with you. The last time you saw a championship in Pittsburgh was 2009, so sit there and shut up.
That was June of 2009, Wes, and it's been a long time since that has happened.
And I'm telling you right now, what do I got to blame Eli for? What do I need to blame Eli for? He won a Super Bowl in 2012. Okay? Let me ask you a question. Does 12 come before 9? Yes, it does. So Giants won a Super Bowl earlier than you have. So sit there and shut up. You go almighty and crazy about your Pittsburgh Penguins. They haven't won crap since 2009. Shut up. You go almighty about your freaking Pittsburgh freaking Pirates. They haven't won crap since 1979. Shut up. Okay? Until your team wins a championship, shut up. That's it.
And Wes, you got to stop. I see you posting on Facebook, Wes. You got to really stop talking and blaming that it's all the officials and the umpires' fault. You got to realize that's part of the game, man. Like remember when they lost in 2013, got booted out? You said that Jeff doesn't know anything about football and that the officials got that call wrong and that the Steelers got screwed.
Yeah, you want to know something? If I don't know anything about football, why did I make this statement that the Denver Broncos won't win a Super Bowl with Peyton Manning as a quarterback, and they still haven't done it yet? Oh, I don't know anything about football. Okay.
Yeah, about the inches, about two or a couple inches. And Wes said, and then remember the time, Wes, that you wrote a letter to Roger Goodell, and then Jeff and I knew all along that was in here in writing? Oh, my gosh. You're trying to fool us.
Hey, Wes, have all your friends come on over here to the show so they can listen to us rip the crap out of you with facts instead of the garbage you spew out of your mouth, which is not facts. How about that, Wes? You like that one right there? I just think unbelievable.
Wes goes, I never said you didn't
yes,
know
you
football.
did.
Ha.
Oh, yes, you did. We have it in the chat room. I could pull it up. I could freaking have Josh go and find it. Yes, you did.
I remember you did too, and I'm a witness to that, Wes.
Remember, all chats are recorded. So I can go back to a show from a year now and look at the chat and prove you wrong. Remember that. All chats are recorded in Spreaker. Remember that. So I can do it. I can do it.
Boy, Jeff really blew you up there, Wes, and you got really...
I know you live football, Wes. I know you live football, but guess what? Your team, the Pittsburgh Steelers, they're not right now. They haven't since 2009. Okay? Get used to that. Because guess what? They're not going to win one this year either.
He says to you, Jeff, I live football. I played football, and I coach football.
I understand that. And I get that. And that's great. But you need to blame the people who are actually playing the game and not the referees. Okay? You need to start having the head coach be accountable. You need to start to have the team to be accountable instead of you blaming the referees. Why don't you call them out for a change instead of calling the referees? I never hear you call out your team. Never. Never, ever, ever. I call the teams out that I root for all the time. That's the difference between you and me. That's the difference between me and Skip. Okay? I call them out where you people don't.
And so I'm sure you're saying, Jeff, that Wes is another Skippy Bayless.
He's getting pretty close to him. He's getting pretty close to
Wes.
him.
He'll rip you every day like he does with Skippy
He's getting
Bayless.
pretty close. I just spent a half hour ripping Wes.
Many more to come in case he has to say Pittsburgh is better. Wes, the only way the Penguins are going to win the Stanley Cup is you better hope and pray they can overcome every tough test they have.
They're not going to win a Stanley Cup. Are you kidding me? Get the hell out of here. There's going to be no championships at all this year in Pittsburgh. Wes is going to go through another crappy year in Pittsburgh with a bunch of losing teams. They might make playoffs, but they ain't winning crap. I'm just telling you right now, Wes. I'm telling you right now. If you don't believe me, if you believe so strongly in your teams and one of them's going to win a championship, let's bet on it, bitch. If you believe so strongly on your teams, which I know you do, and I know you believe that the Penguins are going to win a Stanley Cup, I know you believe that the Steelers are going to win the Super Bowl, and I know you believe that the Penguins, that the Pirates are going to win the World Series. I know you believe that in your heart. I know that. Let's bet on it, bitch, because I know that that's not going to happen. So I'm ready to bet on it. So let's bet on it. In fact, I'm willing to bet on it. So, in fact, you know what, Wes? Let's put the shows up, okay? My show against your show. You got 3 chances. I got 1. Okay? If any of your teams win, we won't do Sports World Radio. When all of your teams don't win, you don't do the GF6 show. Put your money where your mouth is. Because that's the only way I'm going to shut you up. That's the thing you love the most is doing your show. Same thing with me. Put your money where your mouth is.
So Wes, is this a bet that you will? He goes, I'll miss your show.
I'm going to miss your show too, buddy. Because you want to know something?
Note, we have to run to our very first commercial break of the day.
You're listening to Jeff Escow and Sean Mann on
Sports World Radio.
Always on Sports World Radio. Not the GF6 show, always on Sports World Radio.
Did you know that just 30 minutes a day of physical activity can improve your health and decrease your risk of heart disease? For every hour of regular, vigorous exercise, you gain 2 hours of life expectancy. So start walking for yourself and for your heart. Start walking with your family. You'll feel better. Start walking in your community. You'll lead happier and healthier lives. Start walking. Start something. Join the movement today. For more information on the American Heart Association's START program, visit startwalkingnow.org and start walking. Start something.
Storms move fast, so we use the best technology. That includes Bosch Icon wiper blades.
They're beam blades with memory tension springs and an aerodynamic design,
which means they fit the curve of the windshield. Bosch Icon wiper blades wiped our windshield clean and outlasted any other blade we've used. In my opinion, the Bosch Icon wiper blades are the best blades out there. Bosch Icon wiper blades, how storm chasers clear the way.
What kind of person gets to work in the sunshine instead of an office? This kind of person. I am the new way to work. I do have an office. I'm just not chained to it. It's a Regis office at one of the nicest addresses in the city. I don't have a lease, so I don't have to budget for stuff like phones, IT guys, and artwork for the lobby. Instead, I pay one low monthly rate that gives me a beautiful lobby that impresses my clients, a friendly receptionist, a fully furnished office, a place to meet, and a place to brainstorm with my fellow new way to workers. We wonder why more people don't realize that the new way to work is the best way to work. I come here because I want to, not because I have to. I am the new way to work, and I'd like you to join me.
Start now and get 1 month free. Call 1-800-OFFICES or visit regis.com/TV.
Hey everybody, this is Sky, and when I want to know what's going on in the wonderful world of sports, I tune to Sports World Radio.
Welcome back to Sports World Radio. Jeff Escow, Sean Mann, bringing you the fastest 2 hours of sports talk each and every Monday through Friday right here on SportsWorldRadio.com. Hey, so I guess Ron, Wes doesn't want to make the bet because he's not a true blue Pittsburgh fan then, because he doesn't believe in his hearts of hearts that it's going to happen.
And remember this too, Wes. Jeff has another bet on the line with Smoke and Ronnie about the Dallas Cowboys going to the Super Bowl this year.
I already got the show going, man. What are you kidding me? I already got the show up for grabs now. Come on, dude. What's the matter with you?
What's the matter with me? Smoke and Ronnie hasn't shown up because
he knows he's going to lose that bet too, dumbass.
He's going to lose that bet, and he's saving up his money to bring the ribs over to San Diego.
Damn right he is.
And everybody can start saving up their money to fly to San Diego and enjoy the party and bash Smoke and Ronnie.
I just don't get it, dude.
Wes says, bet a pizza, bet cash, Jeff.
I don't bet pizza, I bet cash. I don't bet pizza or cash. I bet the show, because when I put the show on the line, I know I ain't going to win. I mean, I know I'm going to win. When I put the show on the line, I know I'm winning. I already got the show on the line with Smokin' Ronnie. He told me that the Dallas Cowboys are going to win the Super Bowl. I said, what are you, crazy? So you know what's going to happen? You know what we bet? I bet the show. He's flying out here to San Diego. We're throwing a Sports World Radio Super Bowl party. He's bringing his barbecue sauce and barbecue ribs and cooking for us here. That's what he's going to be doing because the Dallas Cowboys ain't winning the Super Bowl.
Wes says, I'll make a guarantee that this is it. The Steelers are going to be the 2015 Super Bowl champions, ladies and gentlemen.
Okay. How much you want to bet me? I'm putting the show. I'm putting the show on. My show against your show. Come on. Don't be a wuss.
Wes says, ha, 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 Jeff, you will die if your show gets off.
I'm not. What are you kidding me? No way. No way, Jose. Ain't going to happen.
35 minutes after the hour. This has been a fun couple of segments because Wes talking smack about how great Pittsburgh is and about all the domination.
Yeah, how great they
Wes?
are.
You're just about as worse as I am because I've done better with not trying to be so biased toward Boston sports and that I'm not a homer like I used to be. You know what, Jeff? Wes is the next homer, along with Kathy. They're both homers, and they just live with their teams. They can't get off of it. Focus on the other sports topics and other sports teams at hand.
Wow, he's calling you out, Kathy, too. Holy moly, look at him, man.
Well, it's the truth. You know, you're telling me not to always be a homer. You got to make sure you have to be unbiased.
I'm pretty unbiased, don't you think? I rip the teams I root for when they suck. Right?
Wes goes, oh, yes, you are. Oh, cut that out, Wes.
I'm not. Hey, listen, I'm not a biased sports broadcaster at all. If the teams I root for suck, I say it.
Oh, don't you dare give me that, Wes. I laughed so hard. I remember on opening day distinctly that the Pittsburgh Pirates were opening up the season, and you said this was the year that the Pittsburgh Pirates were going to win the World Series. I did say, what in the crap is that thing doing on my wall there, buddy? And you did the same thing to Jeff. You posted a Pirates logo on there, and you had so much fun out of the whole ordeal.
Yes, you better hope something happens in Pittsburgh. Otherwise, I'm going to be ripping you all year long. You know it's coming. You know it's coming. When Penguins get knocked out of the playoffs, I'm jumping all over your butt. When any Pittsburgh team doesn't make the playoff or gets knocked out of the playoffs, I'm coming after you. And I'm going to say, see, I told you. And there's nothing you can say.
And then Wes won't even show up to the show.
No.
He'll, like just last year in October, I remember when the Pirates got knocked out in the one-game playoff to the San Francisco Giants, you had no sign of Wes. He never showed up.
Look at.
He says, "What if we shock the Rangers, Jeff?"
Hey Wes, what if my mother had balls instead of my father? Okay. What if?
What if we shock?
What if?
That's fine. I never leave. I was here.
What if? What if I was a foot and a half taller? Would I be an NBA star? What if you were 70 pounds lighter? Would you be smarter, Wes? What if? I could do the what if game all day with you. What if?
But he says, I was here last year. I was here in October when the Pirates got knocked out in the Steelers. Don't give me that. They'll go in hiding.
That's a vivid image, Jeff. You're welcome, Shaba. Make sure you tell Law about that when you see her, too. She'll like that image. Share that image with her, Shaba. She'll like that.
Wes, you're getting roasted really bad this afternoon and evening.
It's a good thing he's got to go work out. Look, he's still here, too. He said he got to go work out, and he's still here. All right, Sean, let's get to the first topic of the day.
I was here. I never lied. Okay, first story of the day, we go to the NFL. Aaron Hernandez, you can join the club with other NFL players who've gotten themselves in trouble and in hot water. Darren Sharper, you might have a nice little roommate. Aaron Hernandez has been found guilty. He will spend the rest of his life behind bars
he's only
after the 2013 murder.
And he's only 25, right?
Yes.
He's only 25, right?
Yep.
So you got to figure he's going to be in there for at least 30 to 50 years. That sucks.
That sucks. It's bad, and that's not a good way to enjoy your life, especially when you're a young 25-year-old.
And he's gonna be living with a bunch of murderers and rapists, and all that blows.
Yeah.
That's not good. So he's not gonna be in a good place for the next 30 to 50 years. What are you gonna do, man?
Yeah, what are you going to do? You just better realize that, life is not going to be very nice. You're going to be in prison. And, you're right, Kathy. Watch him appeal the whole thing.
They're going to appeal it, but it's not going to. You know what? Doesn't matter. Let him appeal it. While they're appealing it, he's still in jail. It doesn't matter. It's not like he's out on bail. No freaking bail. He can appeal all he wants. He's still in jail while they're making the appeals. So it really doesn't matter whether they appeal it or not.
Indeed, and I'm glad this whole thing is over. I didn't even really want to watch it because I just wanted to say I wanted to get away from it because it's like they blew the whole thing out on the news and sports. I know it's a sad thing that this happened, but Jeff, when we do a show together, we try not to get caught up with talking about murders.
Yeah, I know. Let's change the subject. I'm looking at this thing here. Jamison Winston scores respectable 27 on the Wonderlic test.
Right.
Who cares about the Wonderlic test? Does that prove that you can play football? Johnny Manziel scored high in the Wonderlic tech. Tim Tebow scored high on the Wonderlic tech. Is Tim Tebow in the NFL?
No.
So I don't give a crap what you score in a Wonderlic tech. How do you play football? The Wonderlic tech. Who gives a flying fig Newton? The Wonderlic tech. The hell? Get the thing out of here. I bet you Aaron Hernandez scored high in the Wonderlic tech. Now look at him, the Wonderlic test. I bet you Aaron Hernandez scored high on it. Now look at him. So, 27. Who cares about the Wonderlic test? They should cut that crap out.
I don't really care about it.
I
don't really care about it at all. Here's another thing that we have for the NBA. The NBA Coach of the Year voting will come out, and there's a lot of candidates that could happen that will have a chance to win it. Steve Kerr is number one. 59% say he will win Coach of the Year. Mike Budenholzer, 39%. Greg Popovich, 1% he'll win it. So there is a list of coaches. Brad Stevens is on there, and Jason Kidd. These coaches have been sensational and done a great job with their teams.
It's got to be the Atlanta coach.
The Atlanta Hawks coach is, that's what his name is, Mike Budenholzer.
Yeah, lots of luck with that one. Yeah, no, it has to be him because nobody expected Atlanta to be as good as they are.
True.
Do you know, I wish I could pronounce the coach's name for the Atlanta Hawks. Do you know he got Executive of the Year? Because they couldn't give it to Danny Ferry because Danny Ferry is dealing with all that racial stuff down in Atlanta. So they gave it to him instead. How about that? And he's
pretty impressive.
And he's not even the executive, though. He's just the head coach, but they gave it to him. They should give him Coach of the Year. Not because Steve Kerr went to a team that had good players. Atlanta Hawks don't have a team like Golden State. And I think that the Atlanta Hawks coach did a better job than Steve Kerr did.
I would agree with that. It's just hard to tell between the Hawks coach and the Golden State Warriors coach because nobody knows what to expect. It's all going to come down to what the media decides for the voting and who should get Coach of the Year. Steve Kerr did a phenomenal job, though. It's going to be really tight and really tough to tell who has a chance to get it. And Kathy, I will have to say that Brad Stevens is a possibility. Brad Stevens, his second year as an NBA head coach, did a great job of keeping that team together. And yes, the Celtics did make the playoffs, which was a surprise, but Brad Stevens is there. And you know what? If Brad Stevens were to get NBA Coach of the Year, you'd have to give him props because a lot of people had bad expectations for the Celtics before the season started. And he kept the team together. Jason Kidd, another one. He turned the Bucks around. They went from worse to being into the NBA playoffs. So that's pretty incredible, Jeff, with the number of coaches that are up there for NBA Coach of the Year.
Yeah, but I still think it should be the Atlanta coach.
Yes.
I'm sitting here looking at this article. In practice, Stephen Curry made 77 consecutive three-pointers in a row.
That's why he needs MVP with that stat you just told me, Jeff, with 77.
Yeah, that's in practice. In practice. He also made 94 of 100 shots during the season. How crazy is that?
This guy is a great young player, done a great job with the Golden State Warriors. Give it to Stephen Curry, just like you said. LeBron James, you have to always think that you'd vote for yourself and think that he has a chance to win the MVP. No, you've already won it. You've had your share. You've won your championships and been MVP. Give it to somebody else.
There's a video of him doing it, too. There's a video of him making 77 three-pointers in a row. How crazy is that? There's the link, boys and girls. That's nuts. Just scroll down and you'll see it.
And on that note, we have to go to our first update of the day.
This update is brought to you by the Flipper. Head on over to flipperflipper.com and get your Flipper today and never, ever touch your toilet seat ever again to flip it up or flip it down. It's the Flipper, and it's at flipperflipper.com. Take it away, Sean Mann, with the first update of the day.
All right, Jeff, thank you very much. 45 minutes after the hour on April 15th, 2015. In the National Hockey League, it is back finally. The NHL playoffs begin tonight. Before I get to the NHL games, breaking news, of course, and we're going to talk about this a little bit on the show. Peter Chiarelli of the Boston Bruins has been fired as general manager of the team. He was there for, I believe, 11 years with the Bruins. He did help the team win one Stanley Cup championship in 2011 and, of course, took the Bruins to the Cup as general manager in 2013. So best of luck to Peter Chiarelli, and the Boston Bruins move on. Now, we get back to the games. Game 1 tonight, it'll be the Senators taking on the Canadiens up in Montreal. The Islanders at the Capitals tonight, Game 1 of the Eastern Conference quarterfinals. In the Western Conference quarterfinals, it'll be the Blackhawks taking on the Predators. And lastly, it'll be the Flames taking on the Canucks. We move to the NBA. Tonight is the final night of the NBA regular season. Here is the matchups. You've got the Hornets taking on the Raptors, the Hawks at the Bulls, Trailblazers at the Mavericks, Jazz, they're taking on the Rockets, Celtics at the Bucks tonight, Thunder at the Timberwolves, Spurs at the Pelicans, Magic taking on the Nets, Wizards at the Cavaliers, Pistons at the Knicks, Heat at the 76ers, Pacers at the Grizzlies, Nuggets at the Warriors, and lastly, it'll be the Kings taking on the Los Angeles Lakers. So that will conclude the NBA season. The NBA playoffs begin on Saturday with all the coverage for NBA playoffs on ESPN, ABC, ESPN2, TNT. That's the list of NBA playoff action. In Major League Baseball, here's what we got right now. The finals from today in the major leagues. The Chicago White Sox went to Cleveland, and they lost, the White Sox did. The White Sox end up losing 4-2. The Marlins 6, the Braves 2. The Red Sox had a chance to sweep the Nationals. The Nationals say not so fast. They denied it. The Nationals prevailed 10-5 in interleague play. The Angels bomb the Rangers 10-2. Other action we got tonight, you got the Yankees taking on the Orioles, Tigers taking on the Pirates, Rays at the Blue Jays, Phillies at the Mets, Reds at the Cubs, Royals taking on the Twins, Athletics at the Astros, Brewers at the Cardinals, Diamondbacks at the Padres. Interleague play tonight on ESPN2, ladies and gentlemen. It'll be the Mariners taking on the Dodgers. And the other game tonight, it will be the Rockies taking on the Giants. That's the first of two updates for Sports World Radio. Remember this update is brought to you by the Flipper at flipperflipper.com. When we come back from this commercial break and update, more sports talk with Jeff Eskow and Sean Mann. And remember, we're not too far away from the Skippy Bayless Bash Hour.
I had PTSD. Once I was back from Iraq, I was distant from everybody in my family.
We had a reunion of our unit, and you'd hear these spouses say, "Is your husband doing that? My husband's doing that too. I thought it was just us." And really understanding that, hey, this is a common experience.
I learned more to listen to what he was saying, and that made it easier for me to understand where his pain was coming from.
Warriors should know that resources are available. Learn more at realwarriors.net.
Every parent wants the safest and healthiest products for their family. That's why I created The Honest Company. I was just a concerned mom with a crazy dream. A wish that there was a company that I could rely on that did all of the hard work for me. I'm Jessica Alba, and The Honest Company was my dream.
LegalZoom has helped 1 million businesses successfully get started, including Jessica's. Launch your dream at LegalZoom today. Call us. We're here to help.
Confusion ever someone or have sudden you trouble had speaking, understanding?
Understanding trouble? Have you sudden have or speaking someone ever confusion?
Have you ever had sudden confusion, trouble speaking, or understanding someone?
It could be one of the 5 signs of stroke.
Sudden weakness or numbness of the face, arm, or leg.
Sudden trouble with vision in one or both eyes.
Suddenly having trouble walking or difficulty with balance.
Or a sudden intense headache that comes out of nowhere.
If you or someone you know has any of these symptoms, don't wait. Call 911 immediately. You could make a difference in someone's life, someone you love, maybe even your own.
It's late until, wait, don't too.
Don't wait until it's too late. Time lost is brain lost.
Find out more at powertoendstroke.org. Brought to you by the American Heart Association, American Stroke Association, and the Ad Council.
Hey everybody, this is Sky, and when I want to know what's going on in the wonderful world of sports, I tune to Sports World Radio.
Welcome back to Sports World Radio. Jeff Escow, Sean Mann, bringing you the fastest 2 hours of sports talk each and every Monday through Friday. Really quick, just want to remind you guys, Sports World Radio Sports Shorts is up and it's available for your enjoyment. Head on over to sportsworldradio.com/sport shorts and become a member today. You get every single commercial break. When we go to commercials, you guys listen to the commercials. Sean and I are continuing to do a show behind the scenes. We're recording all of that, putting it in a membership for you guys. And so you guys can join it. It's over at sportsworldradio.com/sport shorts. Join today. We're starting a contest next week just for the folks who join the Sport Short memberships. All right? So, excuse me, I had to take a glass of iced tea, sip of iced tea. So, the word of the week will only be available to the people who get the Sport Shorts. So, if you want to win some prizes, you're going to have to get the Sport Shorts at sportsworldradio.com/sport shorts. Sign up today. All right, Sean, where are we going next, buddy?
All right, Jeff, as I mentioned in the update, 51 minutes after the hour, in the NBA tonight, we've got 2 big games going on. Oklahoma City and, of course, New Orleans. Right. Here's the situation. New Orleans wins tonight against San Antonio. They're in. And, of course, they hold the tiebreaker against OKC. Shabba, I know tonight you will be doing a lot of scoreboard watching to see what the Pelicans can do.
Yeah,
Your thoughts, Jeff?
I'm sure he's going to. I'm going to probably be watching that game, believe it or not.
Well, we get off the air at 5 p.m. Pacific, which is 8 p.m. Eastern Time, and that's when the Pelicans will be playing San Antonio. This game is bigger for, I think right now, in my opinion, the pressure is on the New Orleans Pelicans because if you look at OKC, they got an easy game against Minnesota. However, I called it last week and said that sometimes the teams that play that are having a 500 record just trying to get into the playoffs need to take the teams that are below 500 very seriously. OKC is not ending it on a very good note. I still say the advantage goes to the Pelicans, but the Pelicans know very well that San Antonio is trying to get that number 2 seed in the Western Conference. And right now I'm looking at the standings, Jeff, and you've got the Clippers 1 game ahead of San Antonio for number 2 seed in the Western Conference.
Yeah, it's pretty freaking interesting, isn't it?
Tonight you expect it to be a wild night, ending the NBA season. And then after this wild and historic night in the NBA is all over with, then the fun begins on Saturday with the NBA playoffs beginning. That's what I meant to say. Lost my train of thought.
You lost your train of thought there, Champy, didn't you?
Yeah. Pretty much the West is almost close to being set up. You've got Dallas, who will be waiting either to play the Clippers or San Antonio, and good luck to that one, Dallas. I just do not see any way how you're going to do it. You're welcome, Kathy. No problem. Happy to do it for you. Memphis will be playing possibly either San Antonio or the Clippers. So there's a lot of unfinished business, and it seems like the 4th and 5th seeds, that's a really tight one too, Jeff, because you've got Portland going up against Houston.
Portland against Houston. I bet you Portland ends up winning that series.
Although I don't like what I see here, because look at what we got here. You got Portland that's 51-30, and Houston's 55-26. I'm looking at it right now. Houston should be number 4, and Portland should be number 5.
Well, you would think that, but the reason why Portland is number 4 is because they won their division. If you look at it, Golden State's the winner of their division, right?
Right.
LA Clippers are the winner of their division, right?
Mm-hmm.
San Antonio is the winner of their division, right?
Yes.
Portland's the winner of their division, right?
Yep.
There you go. That's why it's like that.
I look at Dallas, and I look at the fact that Dallas could have been higher in the seedings, but the Mavericks, of course, are a team that are going to be starting a lot. For them to hopefully win the finals, even though that's not going to be very easy for them, they have to start a lot of their playoffs on the road. Mark Cuban knows that probably Rick Carlisle doesn't get it done. I have a feeling Rick Carlisle is going to be gone as coach of the Dallas Mavericks.
He should
That's
be
just
gone.
The way I view it.
He should be gone. When your coach comes out and says, they're not playing hard for me every minute, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's a bad indication. It's a bad thing, because that tells me right there that Mark Cuban should just say, I'm going to red flag that whole saying. I'm going to correct you, and I'm going to say, that's not right at all. I'm the owner of this team, and I should come out and say something. But, yeah, that's what Rick Carlisle said a few weeks ago. And for the Mavericks, though, remember last year they took 7 games against San Antonio. I can see them losing in a sweep or losing in 5 games. And if you're the Pelicans, yes, do your part and win. And if you're the Thunder, I'd say don't even make the playoffs, because you're going to get annihilated by Golden State. But we'll see what happens.
Hey, what time is the NHL on tonight?
The NHL playoffs begin tonight on, let me take a look at the first game.
USA,
starts
4 o'clock.
7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific.
Yeah, so ESPN's got the Hornets and the Raptors on, and USA's got the Islanders and the Capitals on.
And the NHL network will have the Senators taking on the Canadians tonight.
That's where I was going to look right now.
Mm-hmm.
That's where I was going to look right now. The NHL on NBC Sports has NHL Live, so I don't even get a game on the NHL network. I get a freaking game on USA instead. They're screwing this whole thing up, dude.
For the first time in 30 years, the NHL will be coming back to the USA Network for NHL playoff
I can guarantee you that there will be no NHL hockey on Monday nights. I can guarantee it. I don't get an NHL playoff game on NBC Sports, which is my channel 65, which used to be the Versus channel, but now it's NBC Sports channel. I don't get a game till 5:30. So I got, let me see something here. I got 2 games on USA tonight and 1 game on the other one, on the NBC, on Versus channel, which is NBC Sports. It'll be pretty interesting. I'm going to be watching basketball, though, I think, because you got 2 NBA games on. Where is the freaking what the hell am I trying to say? The Pelicans game. That's not on ESPN tonight?
No, the first game that they have on ESPN, of course, is Charlotte taking on Toronto.
And the second game,
is not on.
Yeah, the second game is the Pacers at Grizzlies.
Yep.
I don't want to watch those games.
That's bad. I don't like it either. I red flagged this one because San Antonio should be the second. San Antonio, New Orleans, that should be the second game on ESPN.
Definitely. Looks like I'm going to be watching that game on my computer because that's the game I really want to watch.
But there is a reason why Indiana game is on there, because the 8th and final playoff spot in the Eastern Conference is not taken care of yet.
Yeah, but the 8th and final spot in the West ain't taken care of yet either.
That's true.
So they should have had that, because I think that game is more important than this game here.
Who wants to spend their time watching this game? And we all know Indiana, regardless if they make it, I know how you are about ifs, they are going to get knocked out in the first round very easily against the Atlanta Hawks, or even Brooklyn.
Of course, man. And then on ESPN2 tonight, you got Seattle versus the Dodgers. Why? We're not even a full week into the season, and we're already in interleague play.
And that's why I mentioned in my update, the Red Sox today, they had to play the Nationals for interleague play. The Mariners had to are playing the Dodgers right now.
It's crazy, man.
I agree with you, Shabba. I would be ripping ESPN too. Here you are, the big Pelicans fan, and they haven't shown the Pelicans all year.
Unbelievable, man. That's why I wanted them to make the playoffs so we can watch the Pelicans play.
Yeah, and OKC is banged up and injured, and it's time for them to realize that this is it. And then I'm wondering what ends up happening. They get knocked out tonight of playoff contention, are eliminated from the playoffs. Then you wonder if Scotty Brooks is back as coach of the OKC Thunder.
Yeah, I could go watch that Pelican game if I want right on my computer. I got no problem with that. See, if you had sports shorts, if you had Sports World Radio's sports shorts, you would know the website where you can go and watch any soccer game, any basketball game, any baseball game, any football game you want for free right on the internet. So guess what? You have to become a member of SWR Sports Shorts to find out that website, because I told the people on Sports Shorts what the website was. So sign up today at sportsworldradio.com/sportshorts, and you'll find out what the website is.
And on that note, we've reached the top of the hour. We have to run to a commercial break.
You're listening to Jeff Escow and Showman on
Sports World Radio.
We'll be right back.
Storms move fast, so we use the best technology. That includes Bosch Icon wiper blades.
They're beam blades with memory tension springs and an aerodynamic design,
which means they fit the curve of the windshield. Bosch Icon wiper blades wiped our windshield clean and outlasted any other blade we've used. In my opinion, the Bosch Icon wiper blades are the best blades out there. Bosch Icon wiper blades, how storm chasers clear the way.
Confusion ever someone or have sudden you trouble had speaking, understanding?
Understanding trouble? Have you sudden have or speaking someone ever confusion?
Have you ever had sudden confusion, trouble speaking, or understanding someone?
It could be one of the 5 signs of stroke.
Sudden weakness or numbness of the face, arm, or leg.
Sudden trouble with vision in one or both eyes.
Suddenly having trouble walking or difficulty with balance.
Or a sudden intense headache that comes out of nowhere.
If you or someone you know has any of these symptoms, don't wait. Call 911 immediately. You could make a difference in someone's life, someone you love, maybe even your own.
It's late until, wait, don't too.
Don't wait until it's too late. Time lost is brain lost.
Find out more at powertoendstroke.org. Brought to you by the American Heart Association, American Stroke Association, and the Ad Council.
Hi, I'm Montel Williams. Most of you know me as a talk show host, but I'm also an author, actor, single father of 4, a fitness writer, avid snowboarder, and I'm also a medical marijuana patient. Like many of the million people who are living with multiple sclerosis, I'm in pain every single day. And sometimes my nerves are so raw that if you brushed up against me in an elevator, I'd scream. I can't sleep at night from the pain, and sometimes the spasms in my legs are so intense they will wake me up throughout the night. I've tried the strongest prescription medications available, and I'm going to tell you, they do not work. In fact, they leave me in a stupor, and most of the time, it's impossible to even live your life. Now, I've tried medical marijuana, and I'm going to tell you something, it works. If you'd like more information about medical marijuana, you can contact the Marijuana Policy Project at mpp.org or call 1-877-JOIN-MPP.
Hey everybody, this is Sky, and when I want to know what's going on in the wonderful world of sports, I tune to Sports World Radio.
Welcome back to Sports World Radio. Jeff Escow, Sean Mann, bringing you the fastest 2 hours of sports talk each and every Monday through Friday right here on SportsWorldRadio.com. Okay, so, hey Shaba, after the show is over, tell Laura to hit me up on Skype, and I will send her the URL where you can go watch any sporting event you want for you. Okay, buddy? That's because I love Laura. I'll do it for her. Not for you, for her. Okay? So there you go. Fair enough, Shaba? Fair enough, Jeff. Okay, cool. All right, so where are we going now, dude?
Okay, 4 minutes after the hour on the 15th of April, 2015, Wednesday. The next thing we're going to start is the Skippy Bayless Bash Hour.
We're starting that early today, huh?
Yes, we are. Josh said Skippy next, so he's the producer, so here we
go.
Skippy Bayless came out and said today that Pablo Sandoval will be the next Jackie Robinson. You know, Skippy, I have something to say about that. I laughed when Josh sent me the Skippy quotes today. You certainly have a hard-on for Charles Barkley, for Pablo Sandoval, and who's the other person I'm thinking of that you have a hard-on? Jerry Jones. That's right.
Yeah.
Jeff, your thoughts about this? He'll be the next Jackie Robinson.
He's a fat bastard. Correct me if I'm wrong. Hey, look who's hell's in the freaking chat room.
Oh, Ron, I didn't even know you were showing up today.
Ron, no way. We'll bring your ass right on in right now, live right on the air. I can give a flying fig Newton. You ready to rock and roll? We didn't think you were making it today. We want to bring you in. We want to talk hockey. I'm getting you right now, buddy.
All right, I guess I can save the Skippy quotes for today, for tomorrow.
No, we'll do the Skippy quotes with Ron.
All right.
We'll do them really quick. I'm bringing him right in. I didn't know he was coming in today. I thought you were off today, buddy.
No. That was last Wednesday.
Oh, great. Well, we're glad to have you, man.
Yeah, well, I mean, they're about to light the torch in Montreal to get underway with the postseason. There's a couple of big games going on today, guys, in the NHL.
Yeah, well, we proceeded to, our good friend Wes, who's a diehard Pittsburghite, Berg fan who loves every team in Pittsburgh. He proceeded to bust my chops today and tell me that the Penguins, the Steelers, and the Pirates are all going to win their championships this year.
All right. Let me clarify this. I like Sidney Crosby. He is one of the greats in the NHL today. I like Evgeny Malkin. I like Marc-Andre Fleury. But after those three on the Pittsburgh Penguins lineup, they are sorely missing any kind of depth. There is one series out of the 8 that's going to get swept, and I'm sorry to say, as much as I don't like the the New York Rangers and the Broad Street Bullies, if you will, I mean, the New York Rangers are going to sweep Pittsburgh.
Good. Because when it happens, I'm going to laugh at them.
It's sad. It's a common consensus. I'm looking at NHL. They've just locked off the bracket. So if you didn't get in on your NHL bracket, you're now too late because the games are underway. But that is the most lopsided victory for one team over the other in all 8. The fans pick 90% picking the New York Rangers, only 10% supporting the Pittsburgh Penguins.
And that 10% is probably fans from Pittsburgh.
Well, I mean, obviously, or your friend.
Well, welcome here, Ron. Glad to have you here, buddy. 7 minutes after the hour.
Yeah, you know what? Sean? We didn't give him a proper introduction. So let's kind of do that because he just came on. So let's kind of do that. Joining us now, like he does each and every Wednesday here in the second hour of the show, is our Canadian connection, our good friend, Ron Gallo, the hockey guru of Sports World Radio. There you go, buddy. You feel better now?
I always feel better when I'm on the show.
So what's the weather like up there in Canada, eh?
I just came back from a 10-kilometer walk, and the one thought that I had on my mind is that it feels like fall. It does not feel like spring. It feels like it's going to snow as opposed to start getting rays of sunshine, getting green grass to sprout and flowers to bloom. It's a little bizarre up here right now, Jeff.
I saw those pictures you were posting on Facebook with your walk and all that. I was like, check this guy out. He's going for a walk. He's trying to stay fit and trim. Look at him.
There you go.
Here I'm sitting on my duff, talking sports, eating stuff in my face and drinking.
It's all good, man. It's all good.
So I'm glad to have you here, buddy. Thank you for being here. Unfortunately, Sean and I thought you were off this week.
No worries. I was able to make some schedule changes, and it looks like my Wednesdays will be free, with the only exception being if I happen to have to travel or deliver a vehicle for a customer. But otherwise, I'm going to be here for as many Wednesdays as I possibly can, and didn't want to miss this one for sure.
Beautiful. Okay, so on my TV right now, believe it or not, Mr. Hockey Guru Boy, I have on the USA Network channel.
All right.
Which has got their very first hockey playoff game on since when, Sean?
Since 1985 on the USA Network.
How about that, buddy?
Wow.
How about
so you're
that?
watching
So
New York Islanders and the Washington Capitals then?
Correct. On the USA Network, and then on the Versus channel, which is no longer the Versus channel, which is now NBC Sports channel for me.
Mm-hmm.
They just have them talking hockey right now until 5:30, and that's when I get the first game over there. I get two games on ESPN, 2 games on USA, and I guess I get a game on the Hockey Network.
Ron, I got to ask you about that, too. Your thoughts about having NHL back on USA. Do you like it or do you not like it?
And do you get to watch it?
Well, that was the reason why. I'm not sure if you guys noticed that, but that one closed Sports Fanatics group on Facebook, I posted to find out what the U.S. schedule looks like, because every game can be found on Canadian television, and that's just not the case in the United States. So to see some improvements as far as broadcasting the game of hockey in the United States, any additional games, any additional stations, any additional time slots would be greatly appreciated. You said something about not being able to see any of the games on Monday, Jeff?
They're not on the USA Network. They won't be. Not in the United States. I can guarantee it. You know why? WWE owns that night. They're on for 3 hours every Monday night.
Well, the New York Rangers and the Pittsburgh Penguins series will shift to Pittsburgh for Game 3 on Monday, April the 20th. CBC, which is a Canadian Broadcasting Corporation, has it, but so does NBC Sportsnet. Is NBC not running that game down there?
NBC Sports is on Channel 65.
And you don't get that?
I get that. But that USA Network, WWE, owns Monday night, so there won't be no games on Monday night. I can guarantee you Vince McMahon is not giving up his Monday night show for the NHL.
Okay, what about the late game, Anaheim at Winnipeg, on the National Hockey League Network in the United States?
I'm sure all the games will be on the Hockey Network, which is Channel 65 for me, because of the Monday night schedule that they have a problem with WWE.
Gotcha.
Ron, here's what we ended up doing a few days ago. We did give our picks on the show for the Eastern Conference quarterfinals. I got your pick down for the Rangers and the Penguins typed out. You said that the Rangers are going to sweep the Penguins. I want to talk with you about another series. What's your thoughts about this matchup, and who do you think wins the series? The Ottawa Senators taking on the Montreal Canadiens.
Oh, my God. That has been the talk in all of Canada because, of course, there's 5 Canadian teams. There's 2 all-Canadian matchups in the first round. And the Montreal Canadiens and the Ottawa Senators being billed as a Cinderella team, they are sweeping the nation, and a lot of people are falling in love with the Ottawa Senators. It's interesting because when you look at the picks, now this is the NHL bracket challenge both in Canada and the United States. It is a 73% in favor of the Montreal Canadiens defeating the Ottawa Senators in either 4, 5, 6, or 7 games. Myself, personally, I say Montreal in 6. But I'm going to tell you something. The Ottawa Senators right now cannot be counted out, and they have all of the pregame momentum. They've just dropped the puck in Montreal at the Bell Center, and they are just underway in the first 13 seconds of the game. Ottawa has iced the puck. Where I'm going with this is Ottawa has lost an assistant coach just 2 days ago who passed away due to complications from cancer. You look at what Ottawa has done in the regular season, especially in their last 10 games, and all of the games that they've won in overtime or a shootout in order to get enough points, you're going to love this, Sean, to knock off the Boston Bruins. Now,
we'll talk about them.
I know we will. But the thing is you look at what Ottawa has done, and they have been doing nothing but good stuff and building momentum, building confidence, and building a belief in their own systems that they can get this job done. You look at the Montreal Canadiens, and yes, this is my version of the Boston Bruins to you, Sean. The Montreal Canadiens, I want to see them go as far as they possibly can. But today they found out that Max Pacioretty will not be back in the lineup, so he's going to miss Game 1. So that's a bit of a knock. That's a bit of a little hit to the head. So now what you have left is you have depth players that need to step up in the absence of the top scorer for the Montreal Canadiens and get this done. The Montreal Canadiens have a lot at stake here. There was a video, a pump-up video that was released yesterday that was destined for television today. And what it did was it drew on two people. It drew on Robin Williams and his speech from the movie, I believe it was The Poets, and also just the Montreal Canadiens' history and all of the cups that they have hoisted through the years. Montreal is believed to be the team of destiny this year, but if they falter, they're going to falter here in the first round against the Ottawa Senators, who have so much going for them right now.
And on that note, too, Ron and Jeff, we'll continue on with more hockey talk. We have to run to another commercial break.
You're listening to Jeff Escow, Sean Mann, and Ron Gallo on
Sports World Radio.
We'll be right back.
What kind of person gets to work in the sunshine instead of an office? This kind of person. I am the new way to work. I do have an office. I'm just not chained to it. It's a Regis office at one of the nicest addresses in the city. I don't have a lease, so I don't have to budget for stuff like phones, IT guys, and artwork for the lobby. Instead, I pay one low monthly rate that gives me a beautiful lobby that impresses my clients, a friendly receptionist, a fully furnished office, a place to meet, and a place to brainstorm with my fellow new way to workers. We wonder why more people don't realize that the new way to work is the best way to work. I come here because I want to, not because I have to. I am the new way to work, and I'd like you to join me.
Start now and get 1 month free. Call 1-800-OFFICES or visit regis.com/TV.
Did you know that just 30 minutes a day of physical activity can improve your health and decrease your risk of heart disease? For every hour of regular, vigorous exercise, you gain 2 hours of life expectancy. So start walking for yourself and for your heart. Start walking with your family. You'll feel better. Start walking in your community. You'll lead happier and healthier lives. Start walking. Start something. Join the movement today. For more information on the American Heart Association's START program, visit startwalkingnow.org and start walking. Start something.
Storms move fast, so we use the best technology. That includes Bosch Icon wiper blades.
They're beam blades with memory tension springs and an aerodynamic design,
which means they fit the curve of the windshield. Bosch Icon wiper blades wiped our windshield clean and outlasted any other blade we've used. In my opinion, the Bosch Icon wiper blades are the best blades out there. Bosch Icon wiper blades, how storm chasers clear the way.
Hey everybody, this is Sky, and when I want to know what's going on in the wonderful world of sports, I tune to Sports World Radio.
All right, welcome back to Sports World Radio. Jeff Escow, Sean Mann, and Ron Gallo joining us like he does each and every Wednesday in the second hour of the show, talking NHL hockey here with the hockey playoffs just starting today. So it's a great day to have Ron in on the show. What else you got for us, Ron?
Well, it's all about the hockey right now. Just to clarify, Sean, if you're making the predictions down, I am Montreal Canadiens over the Ottawa Senators in 6 games.
Yep, I got you down there. 6 games for that one. The next series will be a big matchup. You got, of course, both New York teams in there. It'll be the New York Islanders taking on Alexander Ovechkin, Jeff, and the Washington Capitals.
This one's closer than a lot of people would expect it to be. The Washington Capitals right now, they have Alexander Ovechkin. What they don't have is they don't have a solid netminder. There's still a problem determining who's the number one goaltender for the Washington Capitals. So if the New York Islanders, who, remember the New York Islanders were the surprise team up until the All-Star break. If the New York Islanders can score some goals early and often on the Washington Capitals, the team will fracture like they do all the time. The Washington Capitals will fall apart because everybody will try and do it individual as opposed to team-oriented play. So the New York Islanders definitely have a chance. And when you look at the NHL bracket, the fan picks show that. Washington right now leads with a 59 to 41% favor by the fans to win that first round series. And that series is just underway right now, as you mentioned, Sean.
Mm-hmm. And who do you like in this series?
That one's a little bit tougher, even for me. But for that one, I have to go with Washington. The New York Islanders are one of those teams where you look at the chemistry inside the dressing room and there's no postseason chemistry. There's no real understanding of what it takes to play at this level. Whereas the Washington Capitals have been bitten so many times in the postseason, you have to feel like they're going to figure it out eventually.
Islanders just scored.
There you go. What did I say? Early and often, Jeff.
Islanders
Early and often,
scored. Yep. Islanders just took a 1-0 lead.
Capitals and what, Ron?
Brock Nelson, left wing. Brock Nelson just scored his first career playoff goal.
Nice. Washington Capitals, if they're going to take it, they'll take it in 6. If it's the Islanders, it'll go 7. Ooh. Here's Montreal moving in. Damn it.
So you got the Montreal game on, and I got the Islander game on.
Yeah, you betcha.
That's great.
We stay in the Eastern Conference. We know we talked about the Penguins and the Rangers. This matchup on CNBC tomorrow night will feature, Jeff, I know you don't like this, the Detroit Red Wings in the Eastern Conference taking on the Tampa Bay Lightning.
Detroit doesn't belong in the Eastern Conference. We've established that over the last couple of years. But here they are. They are going to be taking on the Tampa Bay Lightning. Interesting thing about this, the Tampa Bay Lightning were battling for the President's Trophy just 2 weeks ago. Lots has happened in the NHL in the past 2 weeks. The Pittsburgh Penguins went from a sure thing to ending up squeaking in as a wild card. They just about, if Boston could have picked up one win out of their last 2 games, Pittsburgh wouldn't be in and the Boston Bruins would be playing the New York Rangers right now. But as it stands, the Tampa Bay Lightning get to take on the Detroit Red Wings. Where I'm going with this is Detroit has been to the postseason, get this, Jeff and Sean, 24 consecutive years.
Wow. 24 consecutive years, huh?
24 consecutive years.
Eat that, Wes. Eat that, Wes. Let's see Pittsburgh do that.
And I remember that the Red Wings always had these good teams, and when they won the Cups in the late 90s, they've won, what was it? I think it's been 11 Stanley Cup championships, and they've had an incredible history, an incredible run. And Detroit is, of course, what you call, Ron, big hockey town, especially for the playoffs. So congrats to them. 24th consecutive year that they've made it to the postseason. That's incredible.
Now, the Tampa Bay Lightning, they're resting on fan support. I'm sorry, but they're not going to get it in the first round for 2 reasons. And we talked about this during the commercial break, but they've limited their tickets to either a cash purchase or a Florida address credit card.
Really?
What that means is that they're trying to limit out of, we'll call it out of town, out of market hockey ticket purchases. They don't want Detroit Red Wing fans coming down to Tampa Bay and walking in and cheering on the Red Wings inside the arena that the Tampa Bay Lightning play out of. So I see the fan support actually becoming a problem for the Tampa Bay Lightning as this series goes on. Tampa Bay is going to get a split in their first 2 games played in Tampa Bay. They're going to win one, they're going to lose one. When they go back to Detroit, they're going to be bombarded, shelled, if you will, by the fan support for the Detroit Red Wings in Motown. And Detroit very well could be taking a 3-1 series lead back to Tampa Bay with a chance to wrap it up. I don't think Detroit will get Game 5, but I say Detroit in 6.
Okay, so Red Wings in 6 games. And I can agree with you about that because the hockey in Detroit is very, very tough. It's hostile. Joe Louis Arena is a very, very tough place to play in Detroit there, Ron. No question about it.
Yeah, absolutely.
The game on NBC Sports Network tonight will feature the Chicago Blackhawks taking on the Nashville Predators. This is the matchup of 4 against 3.
This is, it's actually 2 against 3. Sorry to correct you there.
Yeah, that's all right. 2 against 3. Thank you.
Minnesota came in 4th in that conference.
Okay.
Or in that division, rather. The Nashville Predators is another team that has been up at the top of the standings for a lot of the regular season. But you saw, I guess, chinks in the armor, if you will. They have a little bit of difficulty on the back end from their blue line back. And the Chicago Blackhawks are getting Patrick Kane back in time for the postseason. The Chicago Blackhawks are my pick to be the representative for the Western Conference in the Stanley Cup Finals.
Really?
I agree with that because right now the Blackhawks are clicking. I was only busting your chops there, Josh, when I was giving you a hard time about it. But Chicago is clicking at the right time. They're tough. They've always been a threat in the Western Conference.
Absolutely. And Jeff, you said really, I mean, it wouldn't matter who Chicago's playing in the first or the second round. It's Nashville, Minnesota, or St. Louis. Those are the 3 teams that Chicago has to go through, starting with Nashville. I think it's going to be Minnesota that they meet in the second round. I see that one as being another fairly easy. They can't take them for granted. If they do take them for granted, then it's going to be a lot tougher than they expected. But I see Chicago being able to get through to their conference finals where they'll meet Anaheim in 10 games or less. So 5 games in the first round and 5 games in the second round.
Blackhawks in 5 games in the quarterfinals for the Western Conference. The next matchup that we have, another big matchup in Canada that they're talking about, it'll be the Flames taking on the Vancouver Canucks. That game is on the USA Network tonight, Jeff and Ron.
Now, this one here is interesting. This one here is 2 Canadian teams that just don't quite have the same luster as the Montreal Canadiens and the Ottawa Senators. Yes, in Western Canada, which is where I'm based, I know the Vancouver Canucks and I know the Calgary Flames. The problem is outside of the West, there's a very, very small supporting cast, if you will, for those 2 teams. And interestingly enough, this is almost a 50-50 pick as far as the fan selection goes in the NHL Bracket Challenge. 51% in favor of the Calgary Flames, 49% in favor of the Vancouver Canucks. Truth be told, I'm picking Calgary to win this one, and it's not because the Vancouver Canucks can't get the job done. It's just Calgary seems to have done so much, so right, in so little time. You think about a couple of years ago when they offloaded Jerome McGinley and basically had a farm team to play the rest of the regular season with, and now you look at them and they have some of the most notable names in the game of hockey when you see them play. If you were to list a couple of Calgary Flame players, I challenge you to come up with more than 3. You won't do it. But they have Goudreau, who is in contention to be the Rookie of the Year. The Calgary Flames have the goaltender. Now, I'm going to draw a blank on his last name, but Berra is the goaltender, stands on his head. The 2 goaltenders in Calgary do a phenomenal job. That stated, the Vancouver Canucks have had to rely on a man by the name of Eddie Lack to fill in for Ryan Miller when he got hurt and is just working his way back into the lineup. Ryan Miller is ready to go in his opinion, but he's saying all the right things, Jeff. He's saying that he wants to work himself in as an option. He completely knows and understands that he's not going to be the number 1 goaltender to start the postseason, and that was confirmed today. by the coaching staff of the Vancouver Canucks, who have let everybody know that they're going to start with Eddie Lack. I'm agreeing with the fans and saying that the Calgary Flames are going to win this one.
How many games?
You know, Vancouver Canuck fans are going to be really upset with me when they find out that I picked it in 5.
Wow. Just like they were back in 2011, and of course that was a black time for Vancouver Canuck fans. They remember how bad it was, and they lit a riot in that city of Vancouver.
Yeah, absolutely.
29 minutes after the hour, Jeff, I was going to ask you before we get to the next pick, do you want me to just do the second and final update of the day?
Let's get to the second and final update of the day, and we'll come back and we'll continue what we're doing here. You're listening to Jeff Escal, Sean Mann. We're going to run to our final update of the day. This update is brought to you by The Flipper. Head on over to flipperflipper.com and get your Flipper today. Never, ever touch your toilet seat ever again to flip it up or flip it down. It's called The Flipper, and you can get it at flipperflipper.com. Take it away, Sean Mann, with the final update of the day.
All right, Jeff, thank you very much. Thank you to Ron. 29 minutes after the hour. It's the 15th of April, 2015, Wednesday. In the NBA, here's the action that we have right now. The Raptors, they lead the Hornets by a score of 20-17. Other big games tonight, as it is the final night in the National Basketball Association, with the playoffs beginning on Saturday. But here are the other games we got. Got the Hawks taking on the Bulls, the Trailblazers at the Mavericks, Jazz at the Rockets, Celtics taking on the Bucks, the Thunder at the Timberwolves, Spurs at the Pelicans, Magic at the Nets, Wizards at the Cavaliers, Pistons taking on the Knicks tonight at Madison Square Garden in New York, the Heat at the 76ers, Pacers at the Grizzlies. That game is on ESPN. The Nuggets taking on the Warriors, and Kings taking on the L.A. Lakers. Let's move to Major League Baseball. Here's the action that we have right now in progress and finals from today. The first inning is complete in Baltimore. The Orioles strike again. They lead 1-0 against the New York Yankees. The Detroit Tigers and the Pittsburgh Pirates, that game is tied at 0. That's interleague play. The Blue Jays, they strike for 2 runs in the very beginning. They lead 2-0 against the Rays, bottom second. Phillies lead the Mets by a score of 1-0, top half of the second inning. Here are the finals from today. The Indians play the Chicago White Sox. That game goes to the Cleveland Indians, 4-2. The Marlins 6 and the Braves 2. The Nationals take care of business at Fenway Park today and avoid the sweep. They win 10-5 against the Red Sox. The Angels 10, the Rangers 2. Other action tonight in the major leagues. Of course, you got the Reds at the Cubs, Royals at the Twins, Athletics at the Astros, Brewers taking on the Cardinals, Diamondbacks at the Padres. Game on ESPN2 tonight, interleague play. It'll be the Mariners taking on the Dodgers at Dodger Stadium. And lastly, it'll be the Rockies taking on the Giants. Of course, in the NFL today, the big news, Aaron Hernandez, being 25 years old, was convicted of first-degree murder, so he will be spending the rest of his life behind bars. And on that note, that's the final update of the day. This update was brought to you by The Flipper at flipperflipper.com. When we come back from this update and commercial break, Ron Gallo with more hockey perspective as it is opening night for the NHL playoffs. Be right back after this commercial break.
Welcome to the Man Manual. Man comes with a multifunctional casing known as skin. It is remarkable. Warning, standard body wash can cause damage to man's skin. Maintain it properly with Dove Men Plus Care Body Wash. It cleans man and protects skin from dryness. This will keep man's skin remarkable, even under extreme testing. Dove Men Plus Care Body Wash. Skin care built in. Also, freshen man's exterior with new Aqua Impact Body Wash.
Why does consultant Jerry Howell stay at La Quinta?
Can you come back tomorrow?
Because only with La Quinta can Jerry instant hold the room tonight using just his phone number. And then power down for tomorrow on his pillow top bed. And when Jerry's refreshed, you know what he does?
We need ideas, people. Think. Synergistic integration. Genius.
He thinks outside the box.
I'm going for it. No.
La Quinta Inns and Suites take care of you so you can take care of business. Instant hold your next stay on your smartphone at LQ.com.
La Quinta.
Hi, I'm Montel Williams. Most of you know me as a talk show host, but I'm also an author, actor, single father of 4, a fitness writer, avid snowboarder, and I'm also a medical marijuana patient. Like many of the million people who are living with multiple sclerosis, I'm in pain every single day. And sometimes my nerves are so raw that if you brushed up against me in an elevator, I'd scream. I can't sleep at night from the pain, and sometimes the spasms in my legs are so intense they will wake me up throughout the night. I've tried the strongest prescription medications available, and I'm going to tell you, they do not work. In fact, they leave me in a stupor, and most of the time, it's impossible to even live your life. Now, I've tried medical marijuana, and I'm going to tell you something, it works. If you'd like more information about medical marijuana, you can contact the Marijuana Policy Project at mpp.org or call 1-877-JOIN-MPP.
Hey everybody, this is Sky, and when I want to know what's going on in the wonderful world of sports, I tune to Sports World Radio.
Welcome back to Sports World Radio. Jeff Escott, Sean Mann, bringing you the fastest 2 hours of sports talk every Monday through Friday right here on SportsWorldRadio.com. We have Ron Gallo in with us, who comes in every Wednesday in the second hour to talk hockey with us. So where are we going next, boys?
All right.
Well, apparently there's... Sorry, Sean, go ahead.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, the next series we get to tomorrow night, it'll be the Minnesota Wild taking on the St. Louis Blues. Ron, floor is yours.
Again, St. Louis Blues is one of those teams that has found a way to be at the top of the regular season standings, but falter when they get to the postseason. And again, this is going to be an interesting series, though, for me. The St. Louis Blues and the Minnesota Wild, they are going to battle. It is going to be a back-and-forth series, but I think it's going to come down to home ice. And for me, that means that Minnesota is actually going to be the team that comes away with it. They're going to steal one in St. Louis, and then they're going to be able to hold on and win a pair back-to-back, Game 5, Game 6, and the next thing you know, Minnesota will be facing Chicago in the second round.
You really think that the Wild have enough in them to overtake a very tough and a very good St. Louis Blues team, though?
St. Louis does not play that way, though. That's their problem. They don't play that way in the postseason. There's just too much wrong with that team. And you guys remember, it won't be the first time you've heard me say this, but I've told you that if I could be an NHL team owner, which team would I want to own? I've told you guys this. St. Louis Blues. So, I'd love to be in there. By the way, Ottawa has just scored on a very bad goal, but Ottawa takes a 1-0 lead on the Montreal Canadiens.
There you have it.
In this series, though, Ron, your thoughts. How many games do you see it, and who wins it? You're going with Minnesota.
6 games for Minnesota, yeah.
Wild in 6 games. That would be a big, big thing for Minnesota Wild, especially for a team that hasn't had maybe a deep playoff run in a long time. You know they're competitive. And the other matchup, this is another big thing in Canada. Of course, you got the Winnipeg Jets. Unbelievable story. They've been playing on CNBC tomorrow. They will match up with the Anaheim Ducks.
Yeah, again, another good series. This one here, Anaheim, solid. But you want to know something? Here's the interesting thing. Winnipeg Jets actually own all of the stats against the Anaheim Ducks. The Anaheim Ducks finished first. The Winnipeg Jets, they had to slip in through the wild card spot. But the Winnipeg Jets actually have a lower goals against per game. They have a goals against of 2.49. They give up about 2.5 goals a game, whereas Anaheim gives up closer to 3. On the penalty kill, this one here it's a close stat, but the Winnipeg Jets have a slightly better penalty killing average of 81.82 opposed to Anaheim's 81%. The shot attempts, again, this is a stat that favors Winnipeg that says that Winnipeg will take more shots. And anybody who follows the game of hockey, and I suppose it doesn't really matter, it's true in any sport, there's no such thing as a bad shot. And Ottawa just proved that against Montreal. You take a shot and you never know what's going to happen. The more shots you take, the more chances you have to score. So the only place that Anaheim really leads the Winnipeg Jets is obviously their wins. They find a way to win the games. And I think that stat might trump all of Winnipeg's stats combined. And as much as I'd love to see Winnipeg make it to the second round, because right now I'm showing that we're only going to end up with 2 guaranteed teams going to the second round, and that's because they're all Canadian matchups. I don't see Winnipeg being a third team making it to the second round. I'm going with Anaheim to win that game. That one's tougher to call as to how many games, but I'd be even willing to say in 5.
So you're going to say the Anaheim Ducks in 5 games. Got your picks down there, Ron. There you go.
Hey, Ron, what's with the number 4 on the ice in Montreal?
That's for Jean Beliveau.
Okay.
Yeah, Jean Beliveau. They are dedicating the postseason to Jean Beliveau.
Okay, and that goal that Ottawa scored was scored by Montreal on their own goal.
Yeah, cleared it right between his pads.
Yeah, it was pretty funny, actually.
But
now we move to some other big news. Today in the National Hockey League, the news came from Boston today that Peter Chiarelli was fired today.
Why is that the big news? You got to go back a couple of days ago. Saturday, Toronto loses. Sunday, they axed everybody in the office. The coach is gone. The GM is gone. At least Peter Chiarelli held on to his job for another 3 days.
That is true, but he has been fired today as the general manager. 2 words I say as a Bruins fan: epic fail.
Well, I mean, you were on a roller coaster there, Sean, the last couple of weeks, because Boston looked like they were down and out and they were losing and couldn't get anything done. Then all of a sudden they started winning some key games and they were back in the hunt and they were actually in a playoff spot, not just in a wild card spot, but they were actually sitting in 3rd place in their division. And so everything looked okay for the Boston Bruins. And then, like you said, I'm going to use your 2 words, but epic fail. Their last 3 games, disastrous.
I agree. They were sloppy with the puck. They didn't move it around. Power play was bad. They looked like a team that just didn't seem to care to get in there, and that was just a real bad ending for the Boston Bruins. I just didn't think their chances were going to be even better in Tampa Bay. Sure, they took it to a shootout, but you see, that's the point. The Bruins made a lot of mistakes. They had injuries. That was a big thing, and that happens in hockey, and then they had a big slump in December, and then they had a slump in February. And Claude Julien had pointed out throughout the course of the season he was not thrilled with the way the Boston Bruins were playing. He was telling to push his team and say, look, if we're going to make the playoffs, I remember him saying it back in December, we have to start winning now. Otherwise, if not, we're not going to even see the postseason come April.
And that's ultimately what ends up happening. But you want to know something? You've got to be able to make the best of whatever you have. Here's an example. Jamie Benn ends up passing everybody and is going to win the Art Ross Trophy. The Dallas Stars didn't even make it into the postseason.
That's right.
So you have to be able to make the best of everything. And unfortunately, right now in Boston, major shakeups coming. I think Zdeno Chara is safe, but I think he's getting to the point where his age is going to play a factor. The player that there's a couple that I think are gone, but Milan Lucic, my only question is who's going to want him? He has turned into the biggest poor sportsman there is. A year ago, when the Boston Bruins were eliminated by the Montreal Canadiens, he threatened one of the players on the ice and then brought it up at the end of the regular season in the exit interviews, and it was stated that Milan Lucic held on to that, and it was a bitter pill to swallow for the entire season. Grow up and get over it. Holy moly.
I agree with that. And, of course, the Bruins complaining and not acting like good sports. You're right. There's a lot of things and uncertainty that the Bruins face this offseason. Now, Ron, I got a big question to ask you, too, about the Bruins. Okay, they fire Peter Chiarelli today. What about Claude Julien? Is his job safe, or do the Bruins say it's time to say adios and find a new coach?
Okay. The answer to that question, and we've got to go to one more commercial break, but the answer to that question lies in answering this question. Was it the players on the ice that let down the Boston fans, or was it the coaching of the players on the ice? The reason why I ask you this is because the coach does not have much of a say of what players he has to coach. He gets handed his coach, or he gets handed his players by the GM who selects them.
Though. Unless he's the GM.
So if the GM is already gone, the next question is, was Chiarelli able to coach, was Claude Julien able to coach that team, that group of players? My answer to you is absolutely. He's won a Stanley Cup with basically that group of players. I think Claude Julien is safe. I think that a lot of the players are gone.
And interesting to see.
And on that note, we're going to run to our final break of the day. You're listening to Jeff Escow, Sean Mann, and Ron Gallo on
Sports World Radio.
We'll be right back.
I had PTSD. Once I was back from Iraq, I was distant from everybody in my family.
We had a reunion of our unit, and you'd hear these spouses say, is your husband doing that? My husband's doing that too. I thought it was just us. And really understanding that, hey, this is a common experience.
I learned more to listen to what he was saying, and that made it easier for me to understand where his pain was coming from.
Warriors should know that resources are available. Learn more at realwarriors.net.
Every parent wants the safest and healthiest products for their family. That's why I created The Honest Company. I was just a concerned mom with a crazy dream. A wish that there was a company that I could rely on that did all of the hard work for me. I'm Jessica Alba, and The Honest Company was my dream.
LegalZoom has helped 1 million businesses successfully get started, including Jessica's. Launch your dream at LegalZoom today. Call us. We're here to help.
Confusion ever someone or have sudden you trouble had speaking, understanding?
Understanding trouble? Have you sudden have or speaking someone ever confusion?
Have you ever had sudden confusion, trouble speaking, or understanding someone?
It could be one of the 5 signs of stroke.
Sudden weakness or numbness of the face, arm, or leg.
Sudden trouble with vision in one or both eyes.
Suddenly having trouble walking or difficulty with balance.
Or a sudden intense headache that comes out of nowhere.
If you or someone you know has any of these symptoms, don't wait. Call 911 immediately. You could make a difference in someone's life, someone you love, maybe even your own.
It's late until, wait, don't too. Don't wait until it's too late.
Time lost is brain lost.
Find out more at powertoendstroke.org. Brought to you by the American Heart Association, American Stroke Association, and the Ad Council.
Hey everybody, this is Sky, and when I want to know what's going on in the wonderful world of sports, I tune to Sports World Radio.
Welcome back to Sports World Radio. Jeff Escow, Sean Mann, bringing you the fastest 2 hours of sports talk each and every Monday through Friday right here on SportsWorldRadio.com. And it is Wednesday. Ron Gallo's with us like he is each and every Wednesday in the second hour of the show talking hockey. Where'd we lead off, boys?
Well, we just left off in Boston, didn't we, Sean? How about we stay in Boston for a second? Because now that there's no hockey, they don't have to take out the hardwood floor. I got to watch a little b-ball last night.
You were watching the Boston Celtics play last night?
Well, yeah, because they were playing Toronto.
Where were they playing? In Boston?
Yeah.
That's right.
Wow. So you're telling me if you could watch the Toronto game right now, you would watch that over hockey?
No, not a chance, because Montreal's on right now.
Right, and there was no hockey last night, so the only thing you really had to watch was NBA, correct?
That's right.
So
following that game, actually, just a side note, BioSteel, it's a company here that does an energy drink or an athlete street drink, if you will. They sponsored an all-Canadian basketball game, kind of like a prospects game.
Oh, really?
It's the first time ever that's been done, featuring all Canadian players.
Wow, I would have liked to seen that.
It was very, very good. One of the kids, 7'1", Jeff.
Wow. See, I like to see stuff like that.
I'll see if I can find a highlight, and I'll throw it on that Sports Fanatics page. But it was quite interesting. The whole premise behind it is when you go back a few years ago, there was only one Canadian, Steve Nash.
Right.
Then there started to be a couple more Canadians added into the NBA.
Damn it!
And now, as you guys know, the last 2 years were consecutive number one Canadian draft picks.
Montreal, Washington just scored, tied the game.
Basketball is big north of the border, especially when you're in the province of Ontario and the closer you get to Toronto. The Toronto Raptors are big noise and make big noise up here. So it'll be interesting. They want to win tonight's game so that they will have a franchise record wins. They failed to do that last night with a split-second defeat or end-of-game defeat to the Boston Celtics.
Marcus Johansson just scored a goal for the freaking Capitals.
At least it wasn't Alexander Ovechkin.
Yes.
Not your least favorite hockey person there, Jeff.
How do you miss
Alexander
that?
Ovechkin.
How do you miss that hockey puck? Nobody's in front of you. It goes right under your arm. How do you miss that, Goldie? You suck.
And this is why I say the New York Islanders are going to have a tough time getting past Washington.
Well, I hope they do anyway.
We were talking about changes.
Yeah.
Sean Burke and Peter, what was his name? I can't even remember his name now. The Toronto Maple Leafs. Brendan Shanahan, who is the president of the Toronto Maple Leafs, has said that there is going to be sweeping changes, and he stood by his promise less than 12 hours after their loss to the Montreal Canadiens on Saturday night. The coach and the general manager were both fired. There are people like Dion Phaneuf, Phil Kessel. You start looking at some of the names on that Toronto roster. They are pretty sure that they have wore that Toronto Maple Leafs jersey for the last time.
So a lot of changes there in Montreal is what you're saying.
That one's being called blowing it up. They have used those words to describe what they're going to do. Nobody's job is safe. They are going to be looking at just a complete overall revamp of the Toronto Maple Leafs, and they're going to build on some youth. So they are going to write off. It sounds like they want to be competitive for next year, but they are prepared to write off next year as a rebuilding year. They want to be in contention by the time 2017-18 season rolls around.
Will they?
Not until I see some of their changes can I answer that question. As it stands right now, Toronto Maple Leafs should have been a way better team than they were.
Should have
way better. They've got oodles of talent. You know what? Whatever. They fired their coach, big deal. But they proved very, very quick that it wasn't the coach. There is a theory that it's all players and it's all a thing of chemistry and it's all a case of cancer in the dressing room. Mm-hmm. And so that's why I suspect to see probably half of that half of that Toronto Rangers, half of that Toronto Maple Leafs roster just gone.
Really?
Yeah. Absolutely. I've got my head wrapped around trying to talk about the New York Rangers. I'm actually looking forward to the New York Rangers series, I love Pittsburgh. I just see New York showing dominance against that team.
The one thing about the Pittsburgh Penguins is this, and Wes, I have to address this towards you since you're probably still listening, and that is the Penguins, sure, they beat the Buffalo Sabres on the final day, but they didn't end their season on a good note. They were losing a lot of games toward the end of the season and barely were able to squeak into the playoffs and get the last spot.
To be honest with you, there's a few teams that did diddly squat in the last 2 weeks. Pittsburgh imploded. Pittsburgh basically had a guaranteed playoff spot and lost it. And if it hadn't been for that last game, as you stated, if it hadn't been for that last game against the Buffalo Sabres and getting the points necessary to knock off the Boston Bruins, Boston also imploded at the end. The problem with Boston is that when you look at their games, they lost when you go back, they lost to Washington 3-0. They were shut out in a game that I determined at that time was a must-win a week ago. They had to beat Washington if they wanted to get into the postseason. Then they turn around and they lost to Florida, and then they lost to Tampa Bay in a shootout and only picked up a single point. But by the time they lost to Tampa Bay, they were already done. They knew they weren't going into the postseason. But let's not talk too much about the Boston Bruins. There's other teams. You know, I touched on it real quickly. The Dallas Stars. Jamie Benn picked up 16 points in the last 2 weeks of the regular season to overtake everybody else in that race to for the Art Ross Trophy, scoring leader of the regular season.
Wow.
He helped their team get this 4 of the last 5 games they won because of Jamie Benn.
Wow.
And that's a team that knew that they weren't going to make it to the postseason. They were a good team that just struggled at in the heart of the season where when you struggle kind of around that Christmas break to the All-Star break or the 2 weeks afterwards, that's really determines your fate as far as the postseason goes, and that's where Dallas struggled. But you look at what Dallas did since then, and Dallas really did give themselves something to build on for next year. They won, as I mentioned, they won their last 4 games straight. They beat teams like San Jose. They shut out Anaheim. So, I mean, when you look at it, they beat 3 of 4 playoff-bound teams in their last 4 games.
Something for the Dallas Stars maybe to hopefully look forward to for next year. But you wonder where the Dallas Stars will be for next year. What kind of moves can they make to improve their team when the season starts up in October of this year?
Yeah, absolutely. The Los Angeles Kings is another team out west that should have made it into the postseason.
That's what. Yeah, I was just saying. That's what really shocked me. Here
well,
they
you
are,
lose to Edmonton.
Yes.
That to me, when the Los Angeles Kings, I mean, you lose to Vancouver on the night before in a shootout. Driving time from Vancouver to Edmonton is only about 10 hours. They fly; it only takes an hour. There's a time zone change of another hour. So technically, you're 2 hours from Vancouver to Edmonton. You don't tell me that travel was a problem or an issue here. You lost to the Edmonton Oilers, a team that is in the basement and has basically been out of the playoffs since November.
Wow.
And you lost to them 4-2. And then, whatever, woe is me. Then you go into Calgary. One last chance to make it into the postseason because you are battling with the Calgary Flames for the last spot in the Pacific Division, and you lose 3-1. And then you win a meaningless game. You beat San Jose in the last game of the regular season when you're back home on home ice. It's too little, too late. Your chance to win was when you were in the province of Alberta taking on the worst team in the NHL, the Edmonton Oilers, and the team that you needed to beat in order to get into the postseason. Where was the desire to win?
I don't know. It seems like they really gave up, and then they had opportunities to get into the playoffs. That was probably the Bruins not making it and the Kings not making it were the 2 biggest surprises.
Without question. And so you now what you do is you look at Cinderella teams, and we've already gone through these and we're running out of time. But real quickly, Cinderella teams include the Detroit Red Wings and the Ottawa Senators for sure. One from the West and one from the East. There we go again. Detroit and Ottawa, both from the East, rather. Other Cinderella teams, Winnipeg, but I don't see them doing it, and Calgary in the West. The Winnipeg Jets don't have enough to get past Anaheim. Calgary Flames, they could surprise everybody. They could be the LA Kings of a couple of years ago.
Yes, they could. Very well. Very well. You just never know what's going to happen.
No, you don't. I guess you guys need to start thinking about NBA stuff. Toronto Raptors and the Pelicans tonight. Who wins?
I got to go with the Pelicans tonight because I would like to see OKC booted out.
Yeah, I want the Pelicans to win tonight, so OKC is done.
So Pelicans win, they're in, and OKC does not make the postseason.
Right.
Raptors are guaranteed a spot. But what the Raptors have is they have a chance to set a franchise record for wins in a season. I have to go with Toronto in tonight's game.
All I want, though, I'll go with Toronto, too, but all I would like for the NBA playoffs is some good series, and I want to make sure one thing happens. Anybody but LeBron James. Anybody but LeBron.
Correct.
I am so tired of him. Every stinking year we have to listen about LeBron this and LeBron that. Jeff's tired of him. Josh is tired of him. So am I. What do you think, Ron, of LeBron?
Whatever. I mean, you hear more about him in the States than you do here in Canada. You're not going to like this, and we don't have any time left. But you know what? LeBron James doesn't really upset me. He doesn't get my blood boiling.
That's
so
because
whatever.
that's because you don't get to hear about him every freaking single day like we do here in the
That's just
States.
it. I agree with you. By the way, the Raptors are up by 6 points on the Pelicans late in the second quarter.
There you go.
Oh, Shabba's going to be watching.
Quick update. And you know what? With that quick update, we're getting the flock out of here. I want to thank everybody for hanging out with us today. We'll be back again for tomorrow for another 2 hours of sports talk. Until then, my friends, remember, you only have one life to live. Live it long, live it strong, and live it proud. And please don't forget, life may suck, but the alternative is unacceptable. For Sean Mann, Ron Gallo, I'm Jeff Escal. This has been Sports World Radio. Peace out, bitches.
Amen, and have a great evening.
Hey, boy, Stimpy. We sure had fun today, didn't we? So long, kids. Come on, Stimpy, say goodbye.
Where are we going?
The show's